so they could have avoided a losing streak early in the season. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is this. I don't care if you got Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall with Garrett Wilson and Lazard and Cobb. You ain't Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And as long as those two brothers are opposite one another as wideouts on the football field with Tua Tagovailoa on the field instead of being concussed, there's no way I'm going to tell you that the New York Jets have a better offense than that team.
I'll go next because he's wrong, Louis, and then you can fight him off. There's two reasons why you have to say the Jets have a better offense: cold weather and health. Miami's going to have to show in cold weather that they can go out, because he has not played well in cold weather in the past. Tennessee, the year he got knocked. Don't forget, 2 years ago, Tennessee, they got knocked out, and he benched him. And then that 1 year in Buffalo, they got destroyed when they needed to win to be in the postseason. Last year, they didn't really play in cold weather because he was hurt a lot, and the kid, Skylar Thompson, played the game in Buffalo, not Tua. Rodgers is a great cold weather quarterback. That's the first thing. Second thing is, how in the world can I say, and I know Hill and Waddle are great, don't get me wrong, but how in the world can I say that Miami's got a better offense than the Jets do?
The undoing for both of these football teams, the offensive lines. It's as simple as that. Look, in New York, as nice as they look, if their offensive line, look, this is a team that was bottom quarter in the NFL last year in run block win rate and pass block win rate. And it isn't just some statistic. Just watch the tape. They could barely muster 4 yards per carry running the football last year. They can't survive that way this year. They can't survive it. And you see it on Hard Knocks right now. Robert Saleh has expressed concern about it. Aaron Rodgers has expressed concern about it. The offensive line has to pick it up. It has to pick it up. And down in Miami, Teron Armstead has to stay healthy. He has to stay healthy at left tackle. If he does, they have enough right now. They have enough running backs by committee that they can get the job done in Miami.
Okay.
And they're explosive on the perimeter. But that's the team. Don't let them get a hold of Jonathan Taylor.
Well, I got a couple of things. And I appreciate the fact that you agreed with me. Thank you very much. It just shows your brilliance. So let's get that out the way. That's number one, okay? But let me say this to you. Even though you agree with me, I don't think you brought up the most salient points that need to be brought up. The first thing I'm going to do is attack your ridiculous asinine point that you pointed out. The cold weather. Excuse me. Their first game is in Los Angeles. I think they're going to be just all right, okay? So I'm just looking at some of the games on their schedule. They got 8 games near South Beach. Let's just throw that out the way. I mean, it's important to know. It's important to know that, man. Don't worry. So you got 8 games in South Beach. You got a road game against the Chargers right here. I'm looking at that to open the season.
When do they play at Buffalo,
Excuse me. They play at Buffalo in October. They're at the Jets the week before that. I mean, it's not like they're going to be up there in Alaska or something. You're tripping. By the way, when we saw the Miami Dolphins last in the playoffs, when they lost 34-31, where was that game?
That was a game
that was in Buffalo.
And that was a nice warm day.
It was a nice warm day.
It wasn't bad.
Sunny.
What? It was sunny.
It
was sunny.
You know what? They can run the rock.
By the way,
they can run the rock.
Tua wasn't playing. It was Skylar Thompson.
They can run the rock.
Okay, so let me tell you something right now. Keep sleeping on that all you want to. These are the points that you didn't bring up, okay? And I'm telling you, you are right about that, though. They better not, if they get Jonathan Taylor. And it would be absolutely stupid for the Indianapolis Colts to trade him within the conference to a team that potent. That would be blasphemy. I will tell you that.
Yeah? Well, you know what? Look, first of all, Miami can run the rock, okay? Mike McDaniel is one of the best run game coordinators in the NFL. I mean, that's how he cut his teeth in San Francisco. So when they commit to running the football, look, Tua, I don't believe is one of those guys who is going to be characterized here when his career is over as being someone who couldn't perform in cold weather. He'll be just fine because this offense is balanced enough to where he will be able to function quite well regardless of the weather. And look, to me, again, it just comes down to offensive line play. That's what it comes down to. They have a stable of backs right now that can cut you in many different ways. Raheem Mostert, Ahmed, Devon Achane, these guys can go. Jeff Wilson Jr., they can go. Jonathan Taylor would be the icing on the cake for sure. That'll put him. It's Teron Armstead. Keep him healthy. This team's going to light up the scoreboard and write it down. Tyreek said it, and I agree. Right. 2,000 yards.
Okay.
2,000
We'll
yards.
see. But I want to throw this before you give it back to you, Doggy, because you brought up Aaron Rodgers. Just a little number, just a little stat that I'll throw out at you. Did you know that Aaron Rodgers, that bad man, because we know how I feel about him, but there has been 9 straight playoff appearances without a Super Bowl appearance. The longest by a quarterback all time. I just thought I would throw that out there.
Reed did a terrible job, too, in that Super Bowl
Okay,
against
but I
Tampa.
mean, they had
They got
nobody.
more. They
They
had
had
to
no
protect
chance.
it.
Well, that
They
was
had
the
no
thing.
shot.
He went
They had
one-on-one
no
against
shot.
those
In
guys.
the Super Bowl, he
They
had no
did-
protection.
Oh, he did a bad
He had
job.
no-
in that
They
game.
had no
no
shot, though.
protection.
They had no shot. Look, offensive line play, I'm telling you, when we find out the Final Four teams this year, when it gets down to it and we're watching them AFC title games, I promise you, the top 4 teams that are left, they will have the top 5 offensive lines in football.
no,
And
that-
that's why Detroit's coming.
Good
That's
team.
why they're coming this year. You can say what you want about Jared Goff. You can say they're missing Jamison Williams. You can say DeAndre Swift left, although Jahmyr Gibbs is going to make that, a wash of a transaction. But Detroit is coming because of the fact that that offensive line is straight. And do not forget about the Packers. They have one of the best offensive lines too, and Jordan Love is going to benefit from that. Watch the Packers in the second half of this year. Why wouldn't you entertain redoing his deal? It's not going to be a record-setting deal.
I agree with you, but let me play the devil's advocate here. You just finished talking about winning the division, but contending, winning a Super Bowl. You talked about the Eagles and the Chiefs having the 2 best offensive lines in football. You just raved about Detroit and Green Bay and how you're expecting success from them because of their offensive line. And I get all of that. So you're talking championships, all right? Well, if you're the Indianapolis Colts and you're looking at the running back position, I'm just looking at some numbers here. Since 2000, 50 running backs have rushed for 1,500-plus yards in a single season. Only 2 of them reached the Super Bowl.
Right.
That was Corey Dillon with the 2004 Patriots and Sean Alexander for the 2005 Seahawks. And only Dillon actually won a Super Bowl, of the 1,500-yard rushing season. So, well, I'm just saying, when you look at stuff like that, if you're an owner and you're saying, I understand that the running back position is important, and I side with the running backs, Austin Eckler and all of them. I want them to get their money. A matter of fact, I came on here and proposed that the rules where you got a 3 years eligibility coming in the NFL draft, I think running backs should be allowed earlier because regardless of your level of production, the second they see you at age 28 or 29, they say, you know what, you're done. We're not going to give you a long-term deal. So you're inhibiting their ability to earn an honest living compared to any other position in the National Football League. I don't think that's right. Having said all of that, when you read numbers like that and you ask yourself, how does it translate to championship success? They do make a legitimate argument that running backs don't necessarily do that for you. What do you say to that?
Well, I'll put it this way. Look, there's context that needs to be applied to all that. Like, what were all the other factors that led to their football teams not winning championships? Okay. Was it because of the fact that too much money was allocated towards the running back and then the running back and then took away from other positions? Was it subpar quarterback play, subpar offensive line play, subpar, turnover difference? There's a lot of different factors that go into ultimately team success. But I get it. The statistics on the surface makes it look like you don't need to invest in a running back. And if you do invest in a running back, chances are you're probably not going to really get to where you want to get to anyway. And no one in that locker room would blink an eye if you made an exception and said, hey, look, you know what? I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to roll the dice on my 24-year-old running back who just 2 years ago averaged 5.5 yards per carry and was knocking on the door for maybe being a guy who could be a 2,000-yard rusher. I'm going to roll the dice on this guy because I'm telling you what, it will benefit the rest of the organization more so than if we let him go.
Yeah, I understand the argument. He should be making more than $2 million. I get that. But he does have a contract for $2 million. So it's not like he's a free agent. He's being mistreated by the owner. This is what the running back was. He his 4th year with his initial contract.
Yes.
And what did he get guaranteed when he signed that contract?
I
mean, did he? I mean, I know that Barkley got $40 million.
Right.
What? And then he's and now he's making $11 million. I mean, what did Taylor get when he signed? I don't even know.
Yep.
My point is, we're going to kill Irsay on this. I mean, this is the way the sport is. Eagles, who's their great running back? Chiefs, Freddie Pacheco Freddie Pacheco from Rutgers.
Isaiah Pacheco.
7th-round pick. Bucks, when they won, it was Fournette who was through his 2nd or 3rd team with Brady. San Francisco, yes, they got McCaffrey, understand that. But the first time they got to the Super Bowl, who were their running backs with Garoppolo when they lost to Kansas City? Most great teams that go places do not have a great running back. You need the quarterback and the wide receivers. And things like that. So as a result, what are you going to do? You're going to go pay Taylor $15 million a year, cut 3 guys to make sure you can fit him under the salary cap, cut 3 guys.
He signed a 4-year, $7.829 million contract with the Indianapolis Colts. The signing bonus was $3.253
Hey, he got underpaid.
million. Yeah.
He underpaid. But
Well, it's a function of where he was drafted. I mean, he
It's a
wasn't
function
a
of where
top.
he
He
was
wasn't.
drafted.
It's a
second
function
round
of where he
pick.
was
Exactly.
drafted.
He wasn't.
Function
He
of where
wasn't
he
a top
drafted.
5.
But
top
once you
7 pick.
see, my challenge with you, Doggy, is this: once you step on the field and you prove yourself in the National Football League, I get where you come with the guaranteed contracts. You know, you're under contract. This is what it is. But this ain't baseball. This ain't basketball. This is football. And just like owners and teams have the ability to come to you and restructure your deal and invoke a pay cut and things of that nature, you should have the ability to elevate your stature once your performance shows that you can do that. If there was an argument to be made against Jonathan Taylor, that was 2 years ago he did what he did, over 1,800 yards, 5.5 yards a carry. Last year he only played 6 games because he got injured. So you're coming off an injury-riddled season where you missed more than half the season, and you want this money. So if you wanted to make that argument against him, it makes sense. But if you just want to sit up there and invoke what is normally associated with running backs, I think it's a bit different because of what Louis.
All right, so you're going to
pointed
give
out.
him $11 million a year.
I
Because
think-
that's what Barkley got.
I
That
think
means you're going to have to cut 2 or 3 players because there's a salary cap.
He's worth it.
Okay, fine, but now we can't sit there and tell me how much he's beloved in the locker room when 2 or 3 guys are not going to be in the locker room because you're going to have to pay him $11, $12 million a year.
That's 2 or 3 guys they won't miss.
That's the business, though.
That's the business.
That's
And
the
this-
business,
and
though,
this is
Tony.
the
That's
business,
the
too.
business.
And this
You know
is
what?
the business, too.
That's the business. Look, and I think, his value transcends just what he's doing on the football field. Okay, we talk about culture all the time with organizations, whether it be football, basketball, baseball.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.